Hey, I'm Derek, it's me, Derek, and welcome to Stop Skeletons of Fighting, where the background is always different, but we're always inconsistent. Hopefully we're done moving, and this is kind of what it's gonna look like for a while now, but we are still figuring out the lighting. What do you think? Let us know. But hey, let's move on, because recently there was an amazing development in the world of crazy video game peripherals. The Workboy, a Game Boy, an add-on for your Game Boy that basically like turned your Game Boy into like a PDA. Think of it as like a keypad for your calculator, and about as useful. It was gonna be released in the early 90s and it never got released, never manufactured them. And so I think there are maybe like one or two in the world. Recently, Liam Robertson did a video for Did You Know Gaming. He got his hands on one and broke the whole thing down. Please check it out if you haven't already. But really, that thing kind of got me excited because it's like a Nintendo keyboard. Also, weird video game keyboards? I've been known to dabble in weird video game mice. Let's talk about video game keyboards, because there are shockingly a lot of them. Shocking amounts of these keyboards. And I don't mean music keyboards, I'm talking about the other kind of keyboard. Oh, is that another knock at my door, Grace? Who could it be? Wow, it's Warby Parker and Derek on a different day with a different shirt. What is Warby Parker? Warby Parker is glasses galore. The box says it's neat glasses. I agree. Warby Parker is back at it again. I forget how easy they make this to just try on new glasses. They send them right to you. What do you think?
I feel like you need a lab coat for those.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough for these. What about these?
Okay, it's a new look.
Yeah, it's a new look.
It's a new look.
Sometimes I want to shake up my vibe, and Warby Parker makes it easy. And once you pick your favorite, glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses. And Warby Parker also has sunglasses, eye exams, progressives, blue light lenses, and contacts. Classic thick rim. How's that looking? Now all you gotta do is go to warbyparker.com/stopskeletons. You can try Warby Parker's home try-on program for free. You order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for 5 days, and there is no obligation to buy. Shipping is free and includes a prepaid return envelope. There's absolutely no risk here. Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free. Hold on, I'm gonna put these back on to make me feel smart. You can do it at home or you can do it in the store. Warby Parker gives you all the options. Warby Parker is about options, about choice. Get them in your house, or you can go to the store and try them on. Warby Parker. Thanks for supporting this part of the video. Now back to the video. When you think about like the battleground that is like PC and console games, even just like the idea of video games as a legitimate thing, keyboards have actually kind of been there for a lot of it. You think back to like the late 70s, early 80s, a lot of those consoles had keyboards. Sometimes those keyboards that were extra add-ons would sync entire console systems. I'm looking at you in television.
Television can change your family's life.
But they were kind of made like, hey, here's the thing that plays video games, but they also like legitimize them for like, hey dad, you can do taxes.
Simplifies financial planning.
And mom, you can have a calculator, I don't know.
Designs a Jack LaLanne exercise program.
That's what adults did.
I'm over here trying to play Pitfall, and dad wants to do taxes. Parents will never get it. Think about it this way. It's kind of like the early 2000s, like, mom, can I get a PS2? No. But it plays DVDs? Okay. It was that. And this was, you know, consoles and computers were kind of coming up at the same time. In fact, there are certain areas of the world where you didn't get consoles, it was mainly PCs, like the ZX Spectrum and the like over in the UK. You know, we had the NES, they had those computers. Keyboards were there. It's a really deep, dark hole, and man, you know, really, you gotta start with Nintendo. Japan, Nintendo, the Famicom had a keyboard, mainly for programming, and I probably like horse betting. And that's not a joke, if you didn't know, horse betting was like a really big thing for the Famicom, but anyway. Here in the US, we almost did not get the NES. We almost got the wonderfully named Advanced Video System, the extremely generic name aside. We almost got this instead of the NES. It was game system, but it had a keyboard and IR controllers, which would have been an enormous mistake. Thankfully though, we did not get the Advanced Video System. Good taste prevailed and we got Rob the Robot instead.
Batteries not included.
It was weird times back then. But we leave the 80s, we leave what could have been. And shocker, Nintendo never really made a keyboard again. Nintendo of America apparently backed the Transdirect. Yeah, there was almost a home banking thing for the Super Nintendo. Those for people that had things like web TV but not a computer yet. That was gonna have a keyboard, but that apparently never came to be. I hope that is still in someone's garage. Hopefully someone will get their hands on that thing eventually. The 64DD had online capabilities through the RAN net, though this only barely came to be and didn't work with any games, I'm pretty sure. It didn't even have horse betting. They did dabble with typing games. Of course, there was the legendary Mario Teaches Typing, but there's no special keyboard for that, as far as I know. But the next major league, widely produced Nintendo keyboard would come nearly 30 years after the Famicom. Pokemon Typing Adventure, sorry.
Learn with Pokemon Typing Adventure.
This is a typing tutorial game for the DS. It comes with a wireless Bluetooth keyboard, a little cute stand for your DS. It's a pretty good teach typing game. It starts you out with home row exercises, then thrusts you into typing the names of Pokemon, which is a lot easier if you actually know the names of Gen 5 Pokemon, which is something that I don't. I'm a filthy one-gener, I suppose. The game actually gives you more points if you are able to type them faster. So if you can recognize like the shape, the silhouette, and the sound of a Pokemon, and if you can type the name before the prompt actually shows up, you get more points. That's how you get gold medals and stuff like that. I did not get any gold medals, but I still had fun. It's great for the kids. Teach them all kinds of words, improve their lexicon with words that are just gonna help them get jobs, like Muna, Axu. Oh, Jigglypuff, I know that one. Nail that job interview with words that you put in your child when they were Peggy 3, so they know what Raichu is. So here is the keyboard. It only works with this game. There's actually a thing on the back that says like, to look for other games that have this insignia to let you know that it's compatible. Nothing else is compatible with this. Not even the web browser, I'm pretty sure. I guess I don't actually have the DS browser, so I can't test that, but I'd be shocked if it did work. But here's the fun fact is actually you can hold function, turn on the power, and you can sync this bad boy to anything. I was typing on this using my phone. It is just a Bluetooth keyboard. You know, use it anywhere you want. It's kind of lightweight. I do think that like it wouldn't really hold up over time. It feels a little thin, a little flimsy. I don't know, you should use it a whole lot, but nothing can stop you, man, if you wanted to. This is a fascinating little thing because there's a really kind of weird story behind this. So this is, in fact, the only English language Pokemon game that was not released in North America, but it did come out in PAL and Australia. PAL, Australia, Japan, but that was it. Hey, but it still got featured in the Pokemon 25th anniversary video, and we don't really have a concrete reason why. I mean, it's not that it's a bad game. It's actually a pretty great game. And if you're a Pokemon, enthusiast, dude, you should probably try and check it out. Another weird thing, this was a time where a lot of Wii JRPGs came out in the PAL region, fully localized in British English, but not in North America, at least not for a really long time. I guess Nintendo of America, like at the time, was not big on taking risks. I don't know. America, I needed my hero to be talking like this. It's me, I am Shulk.
Hey, Shulk, get over here.
Hey, Shulk, it's Joey Weave over here. There's a lot of things going on here. This is an edutainment game. It's Peggy 3, it's for the kids. You would have to localize this game, again, for the American market because of, little things like they say Z instead of Z.
Z.
Semicolon instead of colon.
Colon. Semicolon.
It's just a wonderful little differences between our two cultures. It needed to be localized for North America, which was a tall order for a DS game. By the way, this was a regular DS game released in the wake of the 3DS. It's okay for what it is, but y'all can't trick me. This is just like wobbly JPEGs on an auto-scrolling level. You could have done this on the Super Nintendo and add in the expensive keyboard, and nah, it's just not happening over here. And it is the most common and useful keyboard with the word Nintendo on it. I don't know, probably cheaper and easier to find than the Famicom. And I know a lot of people are squirming in your seats. A lot of people are like, wait a minute, why are we talking about this DS game that came out in 2011, 2012? What about that GameCube controller? And you are right. However, that is a GameCube controller made by ASCII for a Sega game that is a port of a Dreamcast game. Not really Nintendo, but it was only released in Japan for the GameCube. It is one of the most ridiculous and amazing looking controllers ever. It looks like someone just like took a GameCube controller and then like stretched it out and then smushed a keyboard in there. I wish I could hold it right now and show it to you, but I cannot, and I'll tell you why. These things have always been rare. Back in 2003, 2002, I actually had a brother. My older brother was living in Japan, and I remember asking him, yo, you should get me one of those GameCube keyboards. And he was like, bro, even I can't get them. They were hard to find. I guess he was living in Hokkaido. I don't know if that makes a difference, but they've always been kind of hard to find and always been a little expensive, so I do not have one. And I don't know if I would really need one. The only use for that keyboard, at least the keyboard aspect of it, is to text chat with people on Phantasy Star Online 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Well, that's actually not true. There are converters that'll let you use this keyboard on a computer, which, go get him, Space Cowboy. Great on you. I made the joke when we talked about the GameCube, we talked about the chainsaw controllers a couple of videos ago that, man, I would love to see somebody take this thing to, like, you know, fighting game competition, EVO or something like that, and like whoop ass with Smash Bros. Using the chainsaw controller. I am pretty sure over the years, I have seen people play stuff like Smash Bros. With this gigantic, goofy, beautiful looking ASCII GameCube controller. It's one of those things that you don't get it really for its intended purpose. You just get it because it's wild and wacky and dumb, and I'm right there for you. I understand completely. Man, if only there was a better solution, like a cheaper solution for this type of ridiculous controller. Well, friends, let me tell you about the Logitech NetPlay keyboard for the PS2. It is basically the exact same thing as the ASCII. This controller is basically just a ridiculous looking PS2 controller with a Logitech keyboard literally bolted into it. You can pull it out, use it with your computer, or use it with other PS2 games because any USB keyboard works with a compatible game like Half-Life, Red Faction 2, and of course Final Fantasy XI. There are no proprietary PS2 keyboards because any USB keyboard works. You do not need this keyboard. In fact, buy this thing and then throw the keyboard out, and then you know what you got then? Go to the keyboard, and now you got yourself a little like food tray. So you know what, you can prepare like some soup or like a Hot Pocket. Just like play your PS2 game, and then when you're waiting for the game to load, them load times, am I right? Turn those load times into snack times. The PS2 snack tray, the Logitech PS2 snack tray. But you know, that was Logitech, that was ASCII, the Pokemon company, who was dumb enough to make a first-party, official keyboard. Who else? Sega. The Sega Dreamcast launched with a mouse and a keyboard. Now that is because, like, one of the big claims to fame of the Dreamcast was that it was packed in, every system had a modem, and it came packed in with a web browser. So you needed that keyboard to surf the web, you know, type in URLs, send emails, stuff like that. But I think the greatest thing, the reason why the world needed a Dreamcast keyboard, because without one, there would have never been Typing of the Dead. Maybe the unquestionable greatest game ever made. If you are unfamiliar with this somehow, I'm glad to be the first person to tell you about this game if you didn't know.
The Typing of the Dead.
It is a reskinned House of the Dead 2, but instead of guns, you have keyboards and you have Dreamcast strapped to your back. It is ridiculous, it is wild, it is beautiful. If you happen to have 2 Dreamcast keyboards, you can do 2-player, baby.
How could anyone do this?
Now, this and the web browser weren't the only reasons to own this. The keyboard worked in tandem with the mouse on games like Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament, which were really solid ports for the time. But really, you need it just for Typing of the Dead. It says death sentence on the back. The back says death sentence. There's nothing not to love. Also, fun time warp here. Back in the 90s, this is what all keyboards looked like. Just beige and ugly. This maybe used to be white. I don't know. It's beige and gross now. I had a Dreamcast keyboard back in the day, and I'm pretty sure my mom got rid of it. I'm pretty sure mom just like donated it because this looks just like a normal keyboard. If not for this Dreamcast logo on the corner and, you know, this thing that plugs into a Dreamcast controller port, my mom wouldn't be able to recognize that. Parents will never get it. It just looks like a normal ass keyboard. It's nothing fancy itself. It feels fine. I don't know. Yeah. Sega's been making keyboards since like the SG-1000. As a matter of fact, it was not so ridiculous. It wasn't so out of the ordinary that the Dreamcast would launch with a keyboard and internet capability and stuff like that. Because right at the end of its life, the Sega Saturn got internet capability with Netlink, Sega Netlink, online for the Sega Saturn.
Access to the internet on your TV. Sega! Play games, surf the net, only on Sega Saturn. Sega!
So there is in fact a Sega Saturn keyboard. Now, unlike the Dreamcast keyboard, it doesn't work with games, really. However, some hardcore fans on the internet, I cannot confirm this, but I have read that apparently Duke Nukem 3D, which had Netlink online, it apparently does in fact have keyboard support, but I am pretty sure it is just for chatting. Apparently, Panzer Dragoon Saga is compatible with the Saturn keyboard. However, not to play the game, you use it to access the debug mode. Who figured that out? Who was the wild stallion, the wild insane person who I salute you, had a keyboard, had Panzer Dragoon Saga, and was like, I'm just gonna see if the keyboard works with it. That is insane. That is beautiful. But To my knowledge, I think those are the only 2 games that use it, at least North American. But this does make the Saturn keyboard slightly more useful than the 64 RandNet keyboard, so that is 1 point for Sega. A lot of this stuff was really a product of its time. You know, the idea of having a system with the capability to have a web browser. That was kind of a neat idea in the late 90s when there were like America Online discs for 10,000 free hours for a month. As we move onto the new millennium, that mostly went away. I mean, Xbox will still try to get you to use Bing, but overall, as we moved into the new millennium, people had home computers for surfing the web, and even text chat was fading on consoles. You have games like SOCOM and Halo with headsets, which got a lot of console people online, though it wasn't a perfect solution because it takes more effort to be mean in typing. Maybe if we had stuck with text chat, Xbox Live would be a little more enjoyable. Who knows?
I like to fucking chocolate milk.
Keyboards were meant for 2 things: surfing the net, writing emails, doing taxes.
Simplifies financial planning.
You would think they would have gone away, and I thought that they did. Both the PS3 and the Xbox 360 do in fact have keyboards, though they are now, I guess, keypads that snap onto controllers. I did not realize that there was one for the PS3 because, hey, remember PlayStation Home? They cared about PlayStation Home that much that they had to make a keypad for you. You would bolt on top of the controller, which doesn't really make sense in terms of, that's not where my thumbs are. The chat pad for the Xbox 360 actually makes a lot more sense. I think actually it looks really sharp. It bolts into the bottom of it. Here's the problem though. So the chat pad was sold, bundled with a headset, with a microphone. What are you doing? They begrudgingly had to make these chat pads, but they were still like, yo, just talk, use the voice chat, use a headset along with the voice. That to me is ridiculous. And actually, they still make these, and they're not a bad option if you want to avoid voice chat. But I was still shocked to learn the existence of this thing. And hold on, I want to get the name right, because maybe I'm the last person on earth who didn't know this thing existed. The Razer Turret for Xbox One. It is a keyboard and mouse made specifically for the Xbox One. Let's break this down. For the gamer who has everything but their priorities in order, the Razer Turret for Xbox One. Who is like that into their game? They want to up their game. So you want to buy a keyboard and mouse, but you don't want to get like a desk, a computer desk, or like a tray table, or like get one of these fluffy things. Get this guy. Like, you can't get one of these, dude? What do you do? Who's playing keyboard and mouse on the couch? You can't even snack on that. What's wilder to me? I'm gonna put this down. There are actually like 60 games that are keyboard and mouse compatible. Like not just this keyboard and mouse, any keyboard and mouse. But like, I guess if you wanted to buy this one to be cool like this guy, you could play your Roblox and your Minecraft. Gears 5, but not Gears 4, apparently. And of course, Series X and PS5 both have keyboard and mouse support. Again, we're kind of reaching this place where the chasm that separates PCs and consoles is smaller than ever. Something I realized making this video, when you plot the path of video game keyboards, it tells you almost everything you need to know about the chasm, or now honestly the closeness, between the console and PC market. It's a crash course on like the history and the rivalry, the rise and fall of each of those two things. The keyboards were there for all of it. But that's enough keyboards for one video. Thank you for our Patreon supporters. We are a Patreon supported show for almost 6 years now. The Dreamcast keyboard was actually a donation from a Patreon supporter from years and years ago, and the Pokemon typing game, Pokemon Typing Adventure, I always forget the name. We are borrowing that from somebody. It'll be back in the mail for you. Thank you so much for letting us use that. And we are surprisingly, shockingly close, dangerously close to our goal. If we get a few more supporters here, we are going to get a Zeebo and break that entire thing down. What's a Zeebo? What the hell is a Zeebo? Stick around, because we're getting closer. It's gonna be wild. But that's it for now. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, tell a friend, support us on Patreon, or just keep watching and stay powerful. Take care.